How about that, Dr. Eliezer? Can we do that?
Well, there's certain conditions, and when it comes to health care, the medical profession and the pharmaceutical really has it kind of sewed up. You can't necessarily choose to do something. We have to change that. We have to make health freedom available. That means if you want to go to a shaman, if you want to go to another type of health professional, you have the right to do that. But as an example, in Medicare, you do not have the right to go to someone. You can't choose to pay out of pocket. If a doctor is part of Medicare, they can't give a discount. There's so many regulations. So we must make health freedom. Right now, the only group that controls it is the pharmaceutical companies and the medical profession. And it is not for the betterment of the people. It is for profit. The medical profession has always had a mission statement to help alleviate the pain and the suffering of the sick and the poor. It was never meant to be billion-dollar relationships with drug companies. And that is the problem. Whether you go look at the prescription drug thing that was under Bush, that's like affirmative action for drug companies. We guaranteed that we would pay the highest price for medications. So, again, I think it has to be almost changed from the ground up. But, again, I think the free market, open the free market and allow the free market to determine that. If a doctor is not good, they're not going to get clients. I mean, my clients pay cash. I've been booked solid since 1983, months in advance. I would not be getting those clients if natural health care was not working.
Wow, that's 1983. That's 27 years, and God bless you, Dr. Eliezer. I have two very brief clips, and then I have a final question that I want to ask. And these clips come from none other than our guest, Michael Badnarik.
How bad do things have to get before you do something? Do they have to take away all your property? Do they have to license every activity that you want to engage in? Do they have to be throwing you on cattle cars before you start to say, now wait a minute, I don't think this is a good idea? How long is it going to be before you finally resist and say, no, I will not comply? Sooner or later, you've got to draw a line and stand your ground, whether anybody else does or not. That is what liberty is all about.
Question, Michael Badnarik, is, do we as a society have character change status quo into paradigm such as the three of you were just discussing, a more healthy paradigm for our people?
Yes, I believe that we do. The good news is that it doesn't require everybody. We don't have to get 300 million people to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to let, Obamacare do mandatory vaccinations. The American Revolution was prosecuted by about 5% of the population. Given our current population, that'd be about 15 million people. We've already had 2 million people go to Washington, D.C. to protest, and that doesn't include all the people that wished they could have gone. We've sold 85 million guns in the last 2 years, and almost all of the ammunition, and I contend that's not because there's a sudden interest in quail hunting. So, yeah, I do believe that Americans, we've gone through government schools. We've learned a bunch of, I'm trying to find a nice way to say it, a lot of lies. But part of those lies were all men are created equal, the United States is great, we've got freedom of speech, all these things. Well, even though they're not true at the moment, Americans have got that in their blood. And What we are seeing right now is the beginning of the Second American Revolution. We got the Tea Party rallies, the Oath Keepers, the Continental Congress, all these different liberty groups. You can't go anywhere without, finding another organization upset with the government. The question then is, what's the government going to have to do that's going to push these people over the line? I think that Obamacare is just one of them that's gotten people this active. I can't predict the future, but I do predict that eventually private property and liberty will win over corruption and evil.
And I was just passed on a wonderful quote from Dr. Eliezer here. Unless we put medical freedom into the Constitution, the time will come when medicine will organize into an undercover dictatorship. To restrict the art of healing to one class of men and deny equal privilege to others will constitute the Bastille of medical science. All such laws are un-American and despotic and have no place in a republic. The Constitution of this republic should make a special privilege for medical freedom as well as religious freedom. This is by Benjamin Rush, signer of the Declaration of Independence, physician to George Washington. Dr. Eliezer, can we make it happen? Can we change from where we are to a better place when it comes to health care?
It all comes down to money and advertising. If you notice, right now a mother can go into the supermarket, pick up a box of Trixer for kids, and on there is a little check that says heart healthy. As long as we have advertising where you can say donuts are healthy part of a breakfast, or Little Debbie, when the little girl is going out to the school and the mother stops and says, honey, it's breakfast. And she says, oh, Mom, I don't have time. And the mother says, I have Little Debbie's. As long as Little Debbie's and Pop-Tarts can be advertised as healthy, the average American is being bombarded with this and doesn't have enough of the knowledge to be able to overcome that. So it really does take people to put in a work. The only way you can get knowledge is with effort, and effort takes work. And I don't know any other way.
Michael Danforth, any change of such a massive scale as to change the perceptions of the masses, of the people in the society, so that they would be more receptive to a health system that actually functioned and worked and was sustainable. In the process of getting there, we are bound to be greeted by judicial and legal challenges. Can we overcome those, or are we mired forever in the mess we've gotten ourselves into?
Brent, I really don't see how, for the most part, when you have 47% of Americans that don't pay into a tax system, they don't understand what it is to have, and whatever your opinion is on taxes or not, the fact of the matter is that, without contribution from everybody, without everybody having some skin in the game, without everybody being invested into this republic as far as education is concerned, ignorance is going to rule the day, and that is our problem. As long as Dr. Ben-Joseph said that people are watching the Little Debbie commercials and believing that is real, then that perception is going to be their reality, and that is what we are going to be stuck in. And that is the problem. Until we wake up as a culture, until we have either a cultural revolution, a moral revolution, a great awakening in this country again, I don't see how it will be changed.
And on that note, I want you to think about it, folks. This has given you some definite food for thought, I hope. We will have this entire show up on our Facebook and Twitter pages as YouTube presentations, and we'll break them down into smaller increments. My guests for today have been Michael Danforth. And Michael, I want to thank you so much for lending your legal and your freedom passion expertise to the discussion. Dr. Eliezer Ben-Joseph, host of Natural Solutions Radio, and constitutional scholar and sometime candidate for office, and every-time educator, Michael Badnarik. And all three of you, it's been an absolute pleasure. I know I have enjoyed this. I know the people in the chat room have enjoyed this. I presume the listeners have enjoyed this. And God bless you all for the work you're doing on behalf of us all.
Thank you. It was great.